Okay, so let's say I took this triangle. The pattern is all three sides. Okay, and so let's say I wanted you to find the smallest angle. Which angle would I be asking for if I asked you for the smallest angle? Angle C. And so if you're looking to solve for angle C, that means here's our unknown. We're going to begin with that and the piece of information opposite it. So the side that we begin with will be opposite our unknown. So 4 squared is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides minus twice the product of those two sides, all times the cosine of that unknown, the angle that's opposite whatever side we began with. And so here's what you would have to do for your calculation. Now, the biggest mistake students make on this calculation when they're trying to solve for an unknown angle in law of cosines is they'll take 5 squared plus 6 squared, then they'll subtract this quantity, so they'd subtract 60, and then they divide 4 squared by that whole quantity. But is that the order that you do the operations on this? Can you combine these sums with this product here? No, because the cosine has to be multiplied by this first. So a couple things to do if you're going to solve this by hand or using your calculator, but kind of solving it by hand. You need to start with the left side. So 4 squared is 16. And then you have to subtract these two quantities, again, independently or together. I just take minus 25 minus 36. That gives me negative 45. Now, once I have negative 45 is equal to this whole quantity, I can now divide by these. You have to do the adding / subtracting in a separate step from the dividing. So now I can take this running total of negative 45, divide by the whole quantity, negative 2 times 5 times 6. That gives me my ratio. If I want to put this in decimals, 3/4 is what decimal form? 0.75 is equal to the cosine of C. And now I can find C by taking the inverse cosine of that ratio. So if I took the inverse cosine of 3/4, put it into decimal form, I get my angle measure C to be 41.4 degrees. And so if you're doing it by hand, be very careful that you add or subtract and then divide in completely separate steps. Otherwise, you're going to make a mistake that's very common. Okay, the other option on this, and the easier one, if you understand again, is just let x equal the cosine of C and solve for x. So we could have also just done our solve feature, type in the equation exactly as it appears. So 4 squared is equal to 5 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 5 times 6 times x. Again, remember I replaced cosine of C with x. And then tell the calculator you want to solve for x. Put it into decimal form, so it gives you a decimal answer. When I do that, I get x is equal to 0.75. And so then I can just replace the cosine of C back for x, take the inverse cosine of that, and we wind up in the same steps that I was right here. Okay, so you could still use the solve feature on your calculator. You just have to, again, plan in advance a little bit when you're doing that.